In 2025, Chinese newspapers exploded with one story. A realtor woman met 36 men on Tinder, convinced them into buying apartments, and walked away with nearly $1 million. Was it a scam, or was she just very good at her job? Or maybe the victims were too naive and it's entirely their own fault? Well, the end of this story is even more interesting than the beginning. Here is what happened. Huo Sun ran swiped right on a regular Thursday evening. 30 seconds later, a match. 2 weeks later, a relationship. 1 month later, the deed to an apartment worth 1 million yuan. And 2 months after that, Huo Sun was standing in the lobby of a brand new building in the city of Huizhou, 90 kilometers from his workplace, next to 35 other men. They all had the same question. They all had the same answer. They all had the same ex-girlfriend with the same name. This is not a Black Mirror episode. This actually happened in China last year. And when the police started pulling on this thread, it turned out the perfect girlfriend wasn't even one person. Huo Sun is 31. He moved to Shenzhen from a small province to work as a programmer. He rents a single room for 4,000 yuan a month, sends money home to his parents, and after 10 years in the big city, has never had a serious relationship. Every call from his mother starts with, "When are the grandkids coming?" Every New Year visit home is an interrogation. Where is the wife? Where is the apartment? Where is the life? In China, there is a word for guys like Huo Sun. Shenpiao, literally drifting in Shenzhen. An entire generation of single tech workers the industry used, squeezed dry, and left alone in concrete boxes with mounting pressure to get married. The perfect target. The girl's name was Liu Jia. 28 years old, originally from Hunan province, moved to Shenzhen, works in e-commerce, makes 20,000 yuan a month. In her photos, soft smiling, no age, and crucially, no Louis Vuitton, no Gucci, no luxury, anything. By the third message, she'd moved him to WeChat. By the fifth, she asked for his photo. By the seventh, she refused a gift he offered to send. Don't waste your money. You're alone in the big city working hard. Save your salary. I'm happy as it is. Huo Sun stares at the screen. And for the first time in 10 years in Shenzhen, he thinks, this is her. On the first date, she refused the fancy restaurant, picked the noodle shop around the corner herself, split the bill, said she was traditional and that she wanted a simple life, that she was tired of guys who tried to impress her with money. After 3 meetups, he was the one who asked her to be his girlfriend. She lowered her eyes, paused for a long second, and said quietly, "Okay, you seem honest and decent. Just don't lie to me." Remember that line. It's not in the script by accident. 1 month, that's all it took. Liu Jia turned out to be perfect. She didn't ask for gifts. When he offered, she refused. "Don't waste money on me." When he got sick, she sent soup. When the temperature dropped, she texted him to bundle up. Dates were always cheap places and she always paid her half. Other women would drag their boyfriends to mall. Liu Jia walked through the supermarket with him, counting yuan on the price tags. 4 weeks in, she rested her head on his shoulder and said, "Huo Sun, let's meet each other's parents. I want to get married." And right there, the second move clicked into place. Liu Jia said, "I'm traditional. I can't just move in your rented place. My parents are conservative. They will never approve a marriage if you don't have an apartment. I need to do this first, just to show my mom. And then we can be together." In China, this is called Fang, the marriage apartment. It's a social contract. You want to get married? Show your in-laws property deed. Without an apartment, no wedding. This is a pressure cooker. Every Chinese man over 30 is boiling in. Huo Sun swallowed. Shenzhen is the most expensive city in China after Hong Kong. An apartment there is mathematically impossible on his salary. And that's when Liu Jia played her trump card. Shenzhen, yes, too expensive. But look, Huizhou, right next door. An hour away. My aunt lives there. Prices are a joke compared to here. I've already picked out a complex. Jiujingtai. I have 30,000 yuan saved up. That's all I have. I'll put it toward the down payment. It'll be our home together. We will split the mortgage. And Huo Sun?" She looked him in the eye. "Don't put my name on the deed. I want my parents to see that you bought it in your own, with your own strength, so they will respect you. After the wedding, we will add my name. Pause the video for a second. If you'd been alone in a rented room for 10 years and a beautiful woman said all of this to you, would you have walked away? Huizhou didn't walk away. None of them walked away. Liu Jia took him to Huizhou and introduced him to her friend, a real estate broker, a serious-looking man in a suit, total professional. He showed them the apartment, mentioned a developer's subsidy of over 100,000 yuan, said demand was crazy, said sign now or lose it. Liu Jia stood next to Huizhou the whole time, holding his hand, nodding gently. This is our home, baby. Huizhou signed. The mortgage was 1 million yuan, monthly payment 4,100. Term 30 years. Only his name on the deed, just like Liu Jia had asked. The day after the closing, Liu Jia started replying slower. Day 3, busy at work. Day 5, she blocked him on WeChat. Day 7, her Tinder profile was gone. Huizhou sat in his rented Shenzhen room with a 1 million yuan mortgage on an apartment he couldn't move into because he couldn't get to work, plus the empty space where the woman he was about to marry used to be. He thought he'd messed up, that he'd done something wrong, that she just stopped loving him. But 2 weeks later, he drove to Huizhou, alone. He wanted to see the apartment, maybe sell it. And in the lobby, he ran into another guy. The guy in the elevator said he just bought a place in the building. Huizhou asked why. The guy started talking about a girl. They opened their phones. The photos matched too. So they went down to the building's residence chat group and posted. Anyone else dated a girl named Liu Jia? Within 48 hours, 36 men had joined the thread. Same story, same Liu Jia, same buildings, either Liu Jingtai or the neighboring Huizhou Wang. Same million yuan mortgages, same empty deeds, only their names. 10 of them lived in the same building. Chinese internet immediately christened the complex Liu Family Garden because every resident, ex-wife, had the same surname. One of the victims, let's call him Atao, leaked the story to Today's Focus, a flagship news show on Guangdong TV. 20 million followers. Within 6 hours, the hashtag 36 men have one ex-girlfriend named Liu Jia was trending across the Chinese internet. The police got involved. And what they found out made the story stop being funny and looking just like a dating scam. Liu Jia doesn't exist. I mean, technically she does. There is a real woman from Hunan who worked as a sales rep. Her former co-workers say that she was actually pleasant, got along with everyone, nothing criminal in her past. But Liu Jia isn't one woman. It's an alias used by 15 different women, all of them sales reps at the same Shenzhen brokerage firm, Shenzhen Real Estate Consulting. They all worked from the same script. They all introduced themselves as Liu Jia. And the name itself wasn't accidental. Liu Jia means to stay home, to make home together. It's not even a name, it's a marketing slogan disguised as a person. Above the 15 Liu Jias sat 2 men. They owned the brokerage. They also owned the media company at the exact same office address. Why does a real estate brokerage need a media company? For training and scripts, dialogue template, Tinder opener formats, first date lines, when to bring up marriage, how to deflect the put your name on the deed question, when to ghost. This was a corporate seduction factory with a training department, with KPIs, with kickbacks. Each apartment, 1 million yuan. Kickback per stock unit moved up to 200,000 yuan. 36 apartments, that's roughly 7 million yuan in commissions, about $1 million US. That 30,000 yuan Liu Jia supposedly put in from her own savings as a down payment, it wasn't her money. It was part of a hidden discount from the developer, repackaged as a romantic gesture. She technically chipped in less than she earned on a single closing, and the apartments themselves were sold at 8,000 yuan per square meter, when the actual market rate in that complex was 7,000. So the victims were also paying a 14% markup on top of everything else. 31 of 36 victims filed criminal complaints. Huizhou police ruled no case to pursue. Shenzhen police investigated for a couple of months and went silent. Why? Because legally, no fraud occurred. Look at the math. To prosecute fraud in China, you need 3 elements: intent to unlawfully take possession, deception, and actual loss through the taking. Deception, yes. Loss, yes, $1 million yuan mortgage on each man. Unlawful taking, no. The money went to the developer at market price through the contract that victim signed personally, with his own name on the deed. She received only sales commissions from her employer for closing a deal, and selling apartments was technically her job. A Beijing lawyer commented, if even one of those 36 men had insisted on adding Liu Jia's name on the deed, we could have nailed her for fraud, but none of them did. They all volunteered to leave it off because she asked them to. When journalists drove out to the brokerage's office, it was empty. Desks, chairs, salesperson of the month banners on the wall, and no one. The company had vacated 3 days before the names hit the public. And here is the part that should actually scare you. Liu Jia isn't a one-off. China's Wikipedia equivalent, Baidu has a dedicated entry for this exact technique. It's called Tiangxiangzhu, the celestial fairy trap. A group of people play scripted roles inside a closed loop. Originally, this was used to scam government officials and businessmen on fake investment deals. Now it's been weaponized against ordinary people or apartment sales. Why? Because China's real estate market had been collapsing for 4 straight years. Satellite cities like Huizhou are graveyards of unsold inventory. Developers will pay any kickback to move stock. And so an entire industry was born. It is called Fang, the property shill. There used to be wine shills who lured men to bars to buy expensive wine. Then restaurant shills, luring them to pricey meals. Now, apartment shills. Except in a bar, the victim loses 5,000 yuan, in real estate 1 million, spread over 30 years. Right around the same time as Liu Jia, in Hangzhou, there was Auntie Wong. She got handed a flyer for free dinner at a hotel. She paid 100 yuan for a 3-day, 2-night tour of Shandong. By the end of the tour, she'd been talked into buying a 340,000 yuan apartment in the resort town of Huizhou. She can't make the mortgage payments. She's been sued. Same scam, different packaging, different mark. Retirees this time. One Weibo commenter wrote, "My friend's ex used to offer 20% down payments to her ex-boyfriends. She moved 15 units in 6 months." This is an industry. And it works. Huo Sun pays 4,100 yuan a month on his mortgage, plus 4,000 yuan for his rented room in Shenzhen, plus what he sends his parents. After all that, he has 1,500 yuan left to live on. He told one journalist, "I'll never date anyone again. I can't afford it. The Huizhou apartment sits empty. He can't move into it. The commute would kill him. He can't sell it. Nobody wants to buy in a place nobody wants to live. So it just sits there, like a monument to 36 broken illusions." And Liu Jia, or rather all 15 Liu Jias, no one was arrested. No one is in prison. No criminal case was open. The brokerage shut down and is almost certainly operating somewhere else by now, under a different name, with a different script, with a different Zhang Jia or Wang Jia, or just Little May. She might be swiping right at this exact moment on a guy just as lonely. A saying went viral on the Chinese internet after this story broke. The literal translation doesn't quite work, but the gist is this. If life sends you the perfect girlfriend, first look in the mirror, then check your bank balance. If she's still there after that, run. If you made it this far, a like and subscribe genuinely helps. And remember, real love doesn't show up with a property listing already pulled up. And by the way, this is a channel about to buy property, so if you're buying, selling, or need to consult, the link is in the description box.